Hello, everybody. This is Liz from Trellis Hand-Dyed Yarns. I am based in Greece, where I live with my dog Dakine and my cat Sushi. And I welcome you to this podcast, where I mainly talk about knitting, dyeing, and sometimes books, sometimes other things. And I I'm here today at my home, so there might be some commotion because sometimes my kitty Sushi comes up on the table, pushes, runs around, so maybe we'll see her or maybe not. So that's kind of it. Uh, I'm doing this podcast today from a house because I've been quite sick. Well, after festivals, I think there's always a catch up of all the tiredness of preparing pre-orders and festivals, and then there's the commotion, of going to the festival, the excitement, and all that, and then I'm I get sick, and usually it starts with my throat because in festivals days I talk a lot, and of course I am very prompt to have sinusitis, and that's what happened again. So I decided yesterday to just take a big day off. Well, actually, the weekend, and I'm trying now to be better and not work on weekends. Um, but sometimes I find it challenging because I get anxious and I want things to be done and to work on orders and preparations of things. But I decided specifically yesterday and today to stay at home. So I have lots of things to show you and to talk to you about. So I am not sure how I'm going to divide this podcast. I was thinking of talking to you about a project which is not mine. I'll come a bit later on about that. Then finished objects because I have two of them. And then maybe do another episode or just record today, but to break it into two and to have whatever I got in the festival, the Ch'ti Bazaar, that I was last week, and then to talk about what I'm working on. And then I also got multiple books, mangas, and things like that. So maybe to put that on the other or second part of this podcast. So now you might be hearing a decline snoring. I did a yogi tea. One of my favorite blends is Breathe Deep. And, yogi teas have little sayings. And the one that says today, celebrate your successes and your failures. They both require great courage. So, whatever you do, whatever happens, celebrate. So, this is one of my favorite mugs, and it comes from a ceramic studio in Athens that they make lots and lots of different kinds and styles of ceramic plates and cups for different restaurants, and they have like crazy ideas or very classic ones depending the style of the restaurant. And if you go there, sometimes they have like some one of a kind items that they didn't work out for some reason, or that they were too big or whatever, and this was in there, so I actually got it almost for free. I don't even remember, and I really like it. Thank you for allowing me to get a sip. So let's start. So, first of all, I wanted to talk to you about a project which is not mine. It is of very now good friend, Andrea Dominici. And Andrea with Paola are the co-owners of Mayak Fibers. So, Mayak Fibers are an Italian based um, company, but they get the yarn from the Tibetan nomads, so the yak fibers, and to help those communities. And then they process the yarn, and then they dye it in small batches, but in an industrial way, so they have solid colorways. And Paula and Andrea have several programs developed to help the nomads over there. And Andrea had started another project to collect the milk of the yaks to make organic yogurt from yaks. So that project started before COVID. Unfortunately, because of COVID, it got delayed, and while they had funding at the time, it was, delayed, and lots of money was run down to the drain. Now, finally, they started operating, so they have yogurt. They are giving it to people, to clients to try it out, and they have great success with that. And slowly, slowly, the community of the project starts to be bigger, but they still need some funding, and they started a crowdfunding company, and I thought to share that with you. So if you have, if you can spare and give something to this project, please do. Please donate something, even if it's like $5 or €5 or 1 or 10 or 100. And even if you don't have anything to give, that's okay. But please do share that with people that you think might be interested, might be helpful, might be, might get, might be able to help this project going. So the name of the project is Kangri Metok. I will leave under here in the subscription, anyways, in the, how do you say it, in the details, the link for the project and for the crowdfunding. So if you can help Andrea, help to give those Tibetan nomads, and help him provide them a stable and fair income through their milk producing yak yogurt. So that's it. Then let's go. Finished objects. So the first finished object, you've seen it many times if you are following me on Instagram, and it is my Elton Pullover. So actually now I'm thinking that it was kind of like a surprise, me taking, my cardigan off, but it isn't at all that. It's just that I just got a shower before doing the podcast, and as I said, with my sinuses, I can feel like even the slightest humidity, even if today the sun is out, there's no air, because yesterday with the air, the wind, it was crazy. And yeah, but I felt more cold. Now I'm better, also sipping my tea. So here is my Elton Pullover. Right, there it goes. Okay. So the Elton Pullover normally uses a strand of fingering and a strand of mohair that you alternate. Me, because I used high contrast, and because even if I really like this color, I wanted it to show it blended with the more reddish one, Birthday Girl. So I actually, in the mohair section, I held double my mohair with my fingering, and it gave this more blended look. And because I really liked this color, as I said, I want to accentuate it over here on the sleeves, but I like to do something different for each sleeve when I can. So and over here I held double the mohair to give it like a strong pop. So yeah, I don't know if you have any questions. Me, I did over here the construction's a bit wrong, but it doesn't really show. Yeah, I wasn't very good on how I had to pick up my my stitches from which side. And when I realized it, I had already done one side and then I did the second side. And so it was too late, and I was a bit lazy to take it out. But I'm very happy with it. It's a very light and breezy garment and very warm. So I totally will recommend it. I did the second size, which I used two fingering and one mohair, and even like knitting all the way through the fingering with the mohair. I had enough, and then I just needed a bit more for the neckline and I think one of the sleeves. So I think that if you have two skeins of fingering and one mohair, and you want to do the same as I did, and hold the fingering with the mohair, and you don't have at all a third skein. I had a third skein because I wasn't sure if I would need it. And so what I would say is for you to work your first game, you know, wherever it goes, then go and make the sleeves as long as you want, and then make the neckline so you're sure that you have enough for the neckline, and then just go until the end of your yarn for the body. I did mine. Okay, I have sushi over my knee. Okay, sorry, sushi. So I did mine. A normally cropped version would be like over here, and and the normal sweater would be over here. So I kind of did a mid-length sweater because I have a lot of pants that are high-waisted, but I knew that I didn't want a cropped version. So, but I didn't want also like a very long, oversized sweater because it isn't oversized, and I wanted to keep the breeziness of the project. So there you go. Yes. Sushi, what's up? So Sushi was alone when I was for the time that I wasn't here, and so the first night that I came, she was going crazy and she was so happy, but also I think she was anxious that I would leave again. So she was like meowing all night long until she realized, okay, she's not going anywhere. And the kind was at my parents', and I went to pick her up. And it was funny because Sushi, when she saw me, I came very late at night, and I didn't go to pick up the kind before coming because it was very late. But Sushi was, you know, like searching, where is the kind? And the next day when I went to pick her up and we came in, Sushi was so happy. You could see it. It was like amazing. Of course, I had friends to come and see Sushi, and she was fine, but she's just 6 months old, and she's she's very. A friend of mine found her like really baby, and we think that she lost her mom like very early on, so she's very attached to us and she's very sweet, but sometimes she's just meowing so much. It's like, we're here, you're fed, what do you want, you know, your litter is clear, like really completely like a baby. So sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's frustrating because I'm like, what else should I do? You know, I don't know, like all your needs are met. We are here, you know, we're not going anywhere. We love you. So, yeah. The pity is that I have like friends that I would maybe ask them, you know, to babysit her, to either take her in their house. They have already cats and they're like ferocious cats. Like, I don't know. My cats have never been so ferocious, maybe because they've always been with a dog or with other animals, but theirs are like crazy. If they see another animal, they're super ferocious. So I don't know, but we'll see. And now she's looking at me like she went to sleep with the kind, and she's like looking at me and kind of be sleepy, but also like I'm watching you. So the second project is another pattern by Joji Locatelli. I'm sorry, I didn't say. The Elton Pullover is by Joji Locatelli, and it is the Tromso Hat. So the Tromso Hat normally uses a DK yarn or an Aran yarn. I'm not sure. An Aran yarn, I think. But she says Aran, but I think the yarn that she uses is kind of a bit more as DK. So I kind of used a DK with a mohair because I like that. And so I think I have what's left over here. Oh, yeah. So she normally uses like one color. So my base color over here is my Gaia DK yarn in On Your Shadow. And I think I might have had enough for the whole hat. But that's what left from the yellow, which is Albus Dumbledore. But because I have this little pop of yellow, I wanted to have the crown shape, because the crown makes this little shape. I hope you could see it over here. So it's over here, yeah. And so I wanted the crown to be one color, and I think that's cute. And so with those two, I held what I had left over from my Shadow and Bones colorway in my Poseidon base, which is my mohair base. Yes. And how a good podcaster am I? I didn't even say the colors that I used over here, but I've said it so many times on my Instagram. So I will also put them in the details, so don't you worry. This is Birthday Girl in Yama. So it's a bit more reddish than what you can see over here. And this is Suspicious Minds in my Poseidon base. So there you go. But I will put all the details on the details box, okay? So don't you worry. And so there you go. So those two give this. It's funny how you can see where the red is in the mohair or the more green parts, and then the mohair with the green. I think you can see here more the reds and the yellow parts, because of course the green with the green won't contrast enough to pop up. So that's the hat and how it looks. But I have to show the behind, I guess. So I'm not sure how is it showing, but there you go. It's a bit weird, I know, to show that. And so it's super warm because you have a double layer here of DK and mohair, but also here in the crown where I found that I can be very cold, maybe because I'm also very fragile with the wings and my short hair and my sinuses, but even with the long hair, I'm always very cold easily over my head. So I really like it, and I guess that, you know, if you can also put it even more high and just have that. I haven't tried to wear it like a slouch. Would it work? I guess so. I can't say it, but I guess. So anyways, so how do you make this little section is actually quite easy and a bit boring, I have to say. So you actually make a cylinder of a 1-on-1 rib, and then she gives you instructions on how to close it off and sew it over here. So I'm not gonna say how, because that's the pattern, and yeah, otherwise there's no point. You should get it and do it. But I really like it, and I think it's a very versatile hat. And even if you have DK leftovers or fingering leftovers, why not mold it, like two fingerings and one more here, or three fingerings? No, actually, I want to do that. Yeah, so many options, and I think it's a very cool hat. So I'm actually now wearing my Hohi finished projects of the month, which I'm happy. And she's actually was doing a fall knit along. I did sign up, but I'm not sure what I need to do. I guess I need to send a picture on her Ravelry group. Anyways, I'll see. But usually even if I sign up in those things, I forget to take a prize. And actually, I'm very happy because, want it or not, I think I didn't even thought really about it. It actually goes well with my Elton Pullover. No, don't you think? Okay, so I'm trying to mess a bit with the brightness, but anyways, yeah, it's not working very well. So that's a podcast of 22 minutes. So should I break it off and do a second? Yes, I think it's a good amount. And then I'll continue on a second part with what I got from the Shti Bazaar, which was amazing, and put a little pictures and videos. I don't have many, but I think that would be nice. And and maybe also share what I'm knitting on right now. What do you think? So yeah, so part 2 coming up.
Never show